Usually, most international flights over 16 hours are non-stop, long-haul flights between major cities. But what if I told you that there is one flight 16 hours long between two US points? Along the way, you'll have 5 stops, each on 5 remote islands in the middle of the Pacific. Now, you may doubt that a flight like this exists. Yet, to many aviation enthusiasts, this route is operated by United Airlines between Guam and Honolulu, more affectionately known as the Island Hopper. This route plays a key trade and transport link for the islands to the rest of the world. Now you may be wondering, while United has international flights, how does it operate a flight to remote islands in the Pacific thousands of miles from the west coast of the United States? And the answer is it inherited the routes from Continental Airlines, which operated a subsidiary in the Pacific known as Continental Micronesia. While Continental Airlines has faded into history following its merger with United Airlines in 2010, the airline has played a key major role in the development of the Pacific region, specifically the islands of Micronesia, Guam, the Northern Marianas, and also the islands of Hawaii. Throughout the 1970s to the 2000s, Continental Micronesia, known as Air Mic, operated a series of routes from its hub in Guam to key major cities in the Asia-Pacific region. So this video will highlight the history of Continental's venture in the Pacific, Continental Micronesia. Continental Micronesia, or Air Mic as it was more affectionately known, was founded on May 16, 1968 by Continental Airlines and shareholders looking to see the opportunity to link the islands of the Pacific to the rest of the world. The first flights operated Boeing 727 aircraft lent from Continental Airlines and a few turboprop aircraft on runways built with coral at the time to the islands of Chuuk and Ponape in the Federated States of Micronesia. The services would then be expanded to other islands such as Palau, the Marshall Islands. The airline would eventually hire local employees from the islands, playing key roles such as mechanics, flight attendants, and ground staff. In addition to hiring locally, the airline became the key major cargo transport carrier of the region. While initially based in Saipan in the Northern Marianas, its main hub would eventually move to the island of Guam following the breakup of the Trust Territories, as each of the islands began to form their own political units. Along with its move to Guam, Continental Micronesia would lead the way in promoting tourism to the islands as it offered the first flights between Guam and Japan in the 1980s. From there, while being wholly owned by Continental Airlines, Continental Micronesia would expand its route network across the South Pacific, Australia, Asia, and provide the only link between Guam and a U.S. state. Over a span of 40 years, Continental Micronesia would operate a vast fleet of aircraft provided by Continental Airlines. First, starting with the initial two 727s, the airline would eventually operate more 727s as well as bring in 747 and DC-10 aircraft for high-capacity routes to cities such as Hong Kong and Tokyo. During the mid-1990s, Continental Micronesia would operate briefly the Boeing 757s, which were eventually returned to stateside service under Continental Airlines. In the 2000s, Continental Micronesia would operate 737 and 767 aircraft. Continental Micronesia aircraft operating out of Guam had the same Continental Airlines logo as its stateside counterpart, except the name of Continental Micronesia was added on the aircraft until the early 2000s. Since the merger with United Airlines, the islands have been serviced by Boeing 737 and 777 aircraft with the same blue tail and globe logo, but with the United Airlines name. In addition to operating aircraft lent from Continental Airlines, while the aircraft and the pilots may have come from Continental Airlines, Continental Micronesia focused on keeping a local, familiar experience. The airline focused on hiring local flight attendants, ground crew, and mechanics. As a result, Continental Micronesia became one of the biggest employers in the region. This continues to this day even after Continental Airlines merged with United in 2010. While it maintains a local-based crew and Guam-based operations, the Continental Micronesia name is no longer in use. While it's not necessarily faded from history, the legacy of Continental Micronesia remains, even as the operations are now under United Airlines. So over a span of nearly half a century, The impact of United and Continental's presence in the Pacific could be seen in the economic development of the islands of Micronesia, especially on the island of Guam, where the airline currently maintains its main Pacific Islands hub. The airline operates the only regular, non-stop flights between Guam and a U.S. state, with daily services between the island and Honolulu, Hawaii, in addition to the 5-stop island hopper route. United also maintains the most destinations to Japan by any U.S. carrier, with the flights to Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, and Fukuoka, to serve the Japanese tourist market between Guam and Japan. During the peak periods of the Japanese tourism on Guam, Continental Micronesia also serves cities such as Sapporo, Niigata, Hiroshima, Okinawa, and Sendai in Japan. Along with its impressive list of Japanese destinations, the Guam hub has played a pivotal role for the airline, offering connections to cities such as Cairns, Australia, Nadi, Fiji, Taipei, Bangkok, Bali, Sydney, Seoul, and Shanghai. Being Micronesia's hometown airline, many of the travelers from Guam became members of Continental Airlines' One-Pass mileage program, which eventually has now become the Mileage Plus program. Along with playing a vital role for the tourism industry, United has taken part in local charity and community events, along with providing vital cargo and passenger services to the region. While in the past, United was very much a monopoly, being the only airline operating on these islands, Saipan and Palau now see foreign airlines other than United operating flights from their main hubs non-stop to the islands, bypassing Guam and eliminating the need for connecting on a United Airlines flight. Also, the bread and butter of the Guam operations, the Japanese tourist market, has seen a decline of the tourism market on the island, prompting United to cut many of the routes it once served, such as Sendai and Sapporo in Japan. It has also attempted to enter the Korean tourist market, which has seen an increase, though Continental and United's attempts have failed, ceding the market to Korean-based carriers. As it continues to get challenged on routes to and from its Guam hub, United still maintains a monopoly on key routes such as the Guam-Honolulu route and connecting flights to the United States. Locals in the past have complained about the high airfares, which has since been exacerbated by the departure of Delta Airlines, which ended its Tokyo-Guam route 2 years ago. While United will remain an important airline for Guam and the Pacific, there doesn't seem any indication that the future will see a reversal of the current trend of route and flight reductions. United will double down on its efforts on Honolulu and the Pacific Islands, and make further shifts to better serve the Japanese market in an efficient way. Such a move could be seen with the inclusion of Guam on United's recent proposal for flights to and from Tokyo Haneda Airport, the airport closest to Tokyo City Center. To better serve the domestic transit passengers coming in from other cities where it has ended routes, United can launch a flight from Haneda to Guam while reducing flights to and from Narita. This is just one move that we could see United do in the future as it further shifts and realigns itself in the Pacific to better meet its business needs. While it faces some criticism on Guam and the Pacific for its current moves that it's making over the last few years, the business and market shifts in Asia and the Pacific has prompted United to make these adjustments in order to better serve its objectives in the Asia-Pacific. And though it is difficult to see the ending of the Guam hub, as it maintains flights that are viable to key destinations from the island, the Guam hub is just a small part of United's and many U.S. carriers' overall strategy in the Asia-Pacific, which will be a topic for a future video I will be able to make. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.